Divorce papers on the table. Husband gone. Not by choice. The night before he disappeared, my father gave him one option. Leave quietly, or never see his daughter alive again. He chose to disappear. Because he loved us too much to fight back. 6 months later, I found him carrying cement at my own construction site. And I realized, the man who destroyed my marriage was never a stranger. He was sitting at my dinner table every Sunday. The story. My name is Clara. I run a company most people only dream about. But no boardroom, no deal, no amount of power prepared me for the night I came home to an empty house and a signed divorce paper on my kitchen table. Daniel was gone. Phone off. Close cleared. My 5-year-old daughter was asleep in her room, unaware that her father had vanished. By sunrise, my father was at my door. He didn't look shocked. He looked at the papers and said, "Sign them. Men like him don't stay." But it wasn't what he said. It was his face. Not grief. Not surprise. Certainty. Like a man watching his own plan work. I didn't sign. I searched for Daniel instead, quietly, then desperately, then with every resource I had. Nothing. He had disappeared so completely it felt deliberate. 6 months passed. My father filled that time with introductions, polished men, powerful men, men he approved of. I refused every single one. Then one morning, I visited one of my construction sites unannounced. I used to do that. To stay honest about what was actually being built. That day, it changed everything. Among the workers, covered in dust, carrying a cement bag like it weighed nothing, I saw him. Longer hair. Older face. But the same hands. The same slight tilt of his head when he was focused. Daniel. He looked up. The bag dropped. I walked straight to him, past the workers, past the noise, and stopped. One word. Why? He looked around first. Like a man who had spent 6 months learning to be careful. Then quietly, "Your father came to see me." He wasn't alone. 2 men with him. Not the kind you introduce. He swallowed once before the next part. He told me to sign and disappear. And if I didn't, our daughter wouldn't live to see another birthday. Everything went cold inside me. "I tried to reach you," he said. "But your lines, your accounts, everything I had access to was already cut off. I had no choice but to vanish and stay invisible." So for 6 months, he moved from site to site. No address. No records. Working just enough to survive. While my father told me he had abandoned me for a better life. That night, I walked into my father's dinner party uninvited. The room was full, business partners, family, and the man he had already chosen as my next husband. I didn't raise my voice. I stood in the center of the room and told the truth. Every word. I watched his confident smile disappear line by line. He called it ridiculous. Then a misunderstanding. Then he went quiet. Because the people around him had already shifted the way they were looking at him. Men like my father don't fear accusations. They fear being seen. As I turned to leave, he said, "Walk out that door and you are no longer my daughter." I looked at him one last time. And said, "All right." Outside, Daniel was waiting. He didn't ask what happened inside. He just opened the door. The man my father called worthless spent 6 months in silence. Not to be a hero, but because he had no other way to keep us safe. That is not weakness. That is the only kind of strength that actually matters. He was always my home. I just had to lose everything else to find my way back.